Some fruits pack as much sugar per bite as a candy bar, but others barely register on the sweet scale, and that difference matters more than you think. In this video, we'll rank fruits from most potentially harmful to most beneficial using hard numbers: sugar per 100 g, fiber content, vitamin and antioxidant density, and real-world glycemic impact, plus what large population studies actually say about health outcomes. Look at the numbers. Dried dates can contain 65 g sugar per 100 g, grapes 16 g/100 g, bananas 12 g/100 g, apples and oranges around 11 g/100 g, while berries are often 10 g/100 g, and avocado under 1 g/100 g. Fiber shifts the story. Raspberries and avocados offer 6+ g fiber per 100 g, which dramatically lowers the effective blood sugar spike for the same carbohydrate load. Vitamin C and polyphenol are concentrated in kiwi, citrus, and berries, and those antioxidants are linked in cohort studies to lower cardiovascular and metabolic risk when consumed as whole fruit. Benefits versus risks. Whole fruit delivers fiber, micronutrients, and bioactive compounds that reduce disease risk, but high-sugar fruits, dried fruit, and especially fruit juices can drive rapid glucose rises, dental decay, and excess calories if portion control is ignored. Fructose in concentrated form stresses liver metabolism and can increase triglycerides when overconsumed. Whole fruit almost never has that effect at normal servings. Stay tuned. We'll reveal the surprising fruits to limit, the ones to prioritize for blood sugar control, weight loss, immune support, and athletic fuel, and give practical portion and pairing tips backed by the science, so you can choose the right fruit for your goals. High sugar alert. Why dried fruits like raisins and dates rank as the most potentially harmful due to concentrated sugar levels. Drying fruit removes water but not the intrinsic sugars, so the same amount of fruit delivers much more sugar by weight once concentrated. This is why a small handful of raisins or a couple of dates contain a sugar load that can be several times greater than an equivalent weight of fresh grapes or apples. The physical change is simple chemistry. Water loss concentrates carbohydrates, and with that concentration come higher calorie and sugar densities per bite. Nutritionally, dried fruits still offer real benefits: fiber, potassium, micronutrients, and plant compounds that have antioxidant activity. Raisins provide potassium and certain polyphenol. Dates are a source of potassium, magnesium, and phenolic antioxidants. These components can support satiety and contribute beneficial micronutrients that many people lack. However, the fiber and phytochemicals do not fully offset the metabolic impact of concentrated sugars, especially when portion control is overlooked. For people monitoring blood glucose, the concentrated sugar in dried fruits can produce faster and larger post-meal glucose excursions than the same volume of fresh fruit, because the sugar-to-water ratio and the physical form change the rate of absorption. Risks become prominent in common real-world contexts. Regularly snacking on handfuls of dried fruit, adding them liberally to cereals or trail mixes, or using them as healthy candy, increases total free sugar intake and can push caloric intake upward without the chewing volume and hydration that fresh fruit provides. For individuals with insulin resistance, diabetes, or who are pursuing weight loss, these patterns can undermine glycemic control and calorie goals. Dental risk is also non-trivial. Sticky, sugar-dense pieces adhere to teeth and can promote caries if oral hygiene and saliva flow are not adequate. Balancing benefits and risks requires practical strategies grounded in nutrition science. Portion control is essential. Measure servings rather than grazing from a bag, and choose unsulfured, unsweetened products to avoid added sugars. Pairing dried fruit with a protein or fat source, such as plain yogurt, nuts, or cheese, slows gastric emptying and blunts glycemic response. For people with elevated cardiometabolic risk, prioritizing whole fresh fruit or using small amounts of dried fruit as a flavoring rather than a snack can preserve micronutrient intake while limiting rapid sugar exposure. Context matters. In some settings, such as endurance sports or situations where quick, portable calories are needed, the rapid energy from dried fruit can be an advantage. But for routine snacking, the concentrated sugar levels make raisins and dates more comparable to sweet treats than to low-sugar whole foods. Read labels carefully. Be mindful of serving size and treat dried fruit as a nutrient-dense but sugar-rich ingredient, one to use intentionally, not mindlessly. The glycemic spikes, how grapes and bananas can impact insulin levels and weight gain despite their vitamins. 1 cup of red or green table grapes delivers roughly 110 kilocalories and about 22-25 grams of sugar, while a medium banana provides about 110 kilocalories and roughly 13-15 grams of sugar. Both fruits contain useful micronutrients. Bananas are notable for potassium, around 400 to 450 milligrams in a medium banana, and vitamin B6, while grapes contribute small amounts of vitamin C, vitamin K, and a range of polyphenols such as flavonoids and resveratrol. Fiber content differs. A medium banana has about 3 grams of fiber, whereas a cup of grapes contains only about 1.5 grams, which matters because fiber slows carbohydrate absorption and blunts blood glucose peaks. Glycemic index and glycemic load help translate those numbers into effects on blood sugar. Typical glycemic index, GI, estimates place ripe bananas in the low to moderate range and grapes in the low range. However, glycemic load, GL, which factors in serving size, for a standard serving of either fruit often falls into the moderate category, around 10-13 GL units. That means a single usual serving can create a measurable postprandial glucose rise. Ripeness is a key variable. As bananas ripen, resistant starch converts to simple sugars and the GI increases. Unripe bananas, by contrast, contain more resistant starch that acts like fiber and produces a smaller glycemic response. Benefits and risks must be weighed in context. On the benefit side, bananas supply potassium and B6, which support nerve and muscle function, and grapes supply antioxidants that may support vascular health. Both fruits are whole food sources of sugar accompanied by nutrients and some fiber, so they are generally preferable to refined sweets or sugary beverages. On the risk side, the relatively high sugar density of grapes and the easy-to-eat nature of both fruits make it simple to consume multiple servings in one sitting. 3 cups of grapes, for example, multiply that 22-25 gram sugar load and can create repeated insulin elevations. For people with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or diabetes, those repeated post-meal glucose and insulin spikes can exacerbate metabolic dysregulation and make weight control more difficult. Practical examples illustrate how the same fruit can have different metabolic effects. Eating a medium banana alongside a handful of almonds or a spoonful of peanut butter substantially slows carbohydrate absorption and reduces peak glucose and insulin responses compared with eating the banana alone. Likewise, pairing a portion of grapes with plain Greek yogurt or a piece of cheese lowers the glycemic impact. Choosing less ripe bananas or limiting grapes to about 1 cup, roughly 15-20 grapes, keeps glycemic load moderate while preserving vitamins and fiber. Avoiding grape juice or raisin portions is important. Dehydration concentrates sugars, so a glass of grape juice or a handful of raisins produces a larger, faster glycemic spike than the same weight of fresh grapes. Taken together, scientific nutritional data suggests that grapes and bananas can be part of a healthy diet, but they demand attention to portion size, ripeness, and food combinations. For average adults without glucose intolerance, 1 serving eaten with protein or fat is unlikely to cause harm and supplies beneficial micronutrients. For people monitoring blood glucose or aiming to lose weight, strategies such as choosing less ripe bananas, limiting grape portions, avoiding fruit juices, and combining fruit with protein/fat or fiber-rich foods will reduce the insulin-related effects that can otherwise contribute to weight gain when calories and sugars accumulate. The fiber balance. Why apples and pears form the safe middle ground with the perfect fiber-to-sugar ratio. A medium apple contains roughly 4-5 grams of dietary fiber and about 17-19 grams of sugar, while a medium pear typically provides around 5-6 grams of fiber and close to 16-18 grams of sugar. These are approximate values from standard nutrient databases, and they show why the two fruits sit close together nutritionally. Both deliver a meaningful amount of fiber relative to their sugar content. The balance matters because fiber directly alters how the sugars are processed by the body. In simple terms, more fiber per gram of sugar slows absorption and blunts blood glucose spikes. The fiber in apples and pears is a mix of soluble and insoluble types, with pectin being a prominent soluble component. Pectin forms a gel-like matrix in the gut that slows gastric emptying and reduces the rate at which glucose enters the bloodstream. This mechanism helps explain why whole apples and pears have low to moderate glycemic impact. Their glycemic index values generally fall in the 30s to 40s range, even though they contain measurable quantities of natural sugars. In addition, soluble fiber binds bile acids and can modestly lower LDL cholesterol when consumed regularly as part of a fiber-rich diet. Benefits are clear and evidence-based. The fiber content contributes to improved satiety, making it easier to manage calorie intake. It supports regular bowel function, and the pectin-mediated effects on glucose and lipids offer cardiovascular and metabolic advantages. Risks exist too, and they are mostly context-dependent. The fructose and total sugar in an apple or pear can be significant if someone eats multiple pieces or concentrates the sugars by juicing. For people with irritable bowel syndrome or other FODMAP sensitivities, both apples and pears are known to contain sorbitol and excess free fructose, which can trigger bloating and discomfort. Dental erosion is also a practical concern when fruit sugars and acids are consumed frequently without proper oral hygiene. Practical application favors whole fruit with the skin left on. Most of the fiber and a large share of polyphenol are in or just under the peel. Pairing a small apple or pear with a source of protein or healthy fat, such as a handful of nuts or a tablespoon of nut butter, further moderates post-meal glycemia and increases fullness. For people managing diabetes, counting the fruit as a carbohydrate portion and monitoring postprandial glucose responses is sensible. For those prone to digestive upset, choosing cooked or canned varieties without added sugar or limiting portion size can reduce symptoms because cooking breaks down some fermentable sugars. Overall, apples and pears represent a nutritionally pragmatic middle ground. They are neither the lowest sugar nor the highest fiber fruits, but their fiber-to-sugar balance and the presence of pectin give them a reliably moderate metabolic profile suitable for many diets. Berry benefits. Strawberries and blueberries rank high for potent antioxidants and low glycemic index. Strawberries and blueberries are compact sources of nutrients that deliver more than just sweetness. Per 100 grams, raw strawberries provide about 32 kcal, roughly 4.9 g of sugar, around 2 g of fiber, and a substantial amount of vitamin C, about 59 mg. Blueberries are higher in energy and natural sugars, about 57 kcal and approximately 10 g of sugar per 100 g, while supplying close to 2.4 g of fiber and smaller amounts of vitamin C than strawberries. Glycemic index values place strawberries in the low range and blueberries in the low to moderate range. The practical result is that a typical cup, almost equals 150 g, of strawberries contains only about 7-8 g of sugar and has a low glycemic impact, whereas a cup of blueberries contains roughly 15 g of sugar and produces a modestly higher glycemic response. Antioxidant composition differs between the two berries, which affects their health actions. Blueberries are especially rich in anthocyanins, the pigment compounds most strongly associated with antioxidant capacity measured in lab assays. Strawberries contribute significant vitamin C and unique phenolics such as elagitannins and flavonols. Together, these compounds neutralize reactive oxygen species in biochemical studies and are linked in clinical research to modest improvements in markers of cardiovascular risk, endothelial function, and insulin sensitivity when eaten regularly as part of a balanced diet. Evidence supports that whole berries, fresh or properly frozen, retain these phytochemicals better than heavily processed forms. Benefits must be weighed against risks and context. For people managing blood glucose, portion size matters. The lower sugar load and low glycemic index of strawberries make them easier to fit into meal plans, while blueberries still fit but require awareness of the higher natural sugar per serving. Processed berry products such as sweetened jams, syrups, or fruit-on-the-bottom yogurts often add refined sugars that raise both calories and glycemic response substantially. Those forms negate much of the low GI advantage of fresh berries. Some individuals experience oral allergy syndrome or fructose malabsorption with berries, and certain monitoring reports have flagged strawberries among produce items with higher detectable pesticide residues. Washing and choosing organic when concerned can reduce exposure. Practical choices maximize benefits and minimize risk. Aim for whole fruit and reasonable portions, about a half to 1 cup depending on energy needs, and pair berries with protein or healthy fat, yogurt, cottage cheese, nuts, to slow glucose absorption. Frozen berries are a convenient, nutrient-dense option that preserve antioxidants. For people on strict carbohydrate plans or with specific medical conditions, count actual grams of carbohydrate and consult a clinician about integrating berries into daily meals. Otherwise, both strawberries and blueberries offer a strong nutritional return for modest sugars and are among the better fruit choices for antioxidant intake and glycemic control. The healthiest champions, lemons and avocados, take the top spot for minimal sugar and maximum nutritional repair. Lemons pack a remarkable concentration of vitamin C and organic acids in a small, low-calorie package. Per 100 grams, they provide roughly 29 kcal, about 9.3 g of total carbohydrates with close to 2.5 g of sugars, and approximately 53 mg of vitamin C according to standard nutrient databases. They also contribute dietary fiber, around 2.8 g/100 g, and citric acid, which has a measurable physiological effect. Increased urinary citrate lowers the propensity for calcium oxalate kidney stone formation by binding free calcium and reducing crystal aggregation. This makes lemon juice a practical, low-sugar intervention for people prone to stones when used sensibly, diluted in water, for example, because the sugar load remains minimal compared with most fruit juices. At the same time, the acidity can erode dental enamel over time if consumed undiluted and frequently. Rinsing the mouth or drinking through a straw reduces contact and mitigates that risk. Avocados are almost the opposite sugar-wise. They are very low in sugars, about 0.7 g per 100 g, while being energy-dense due to fats, providing roughly 160 kilocalories and about 14.7 g of total fat per 100 g, the majority of which are monounsaturated fatty acids like oleic acid. Those fats are not merely caloric, they have functional roles. Monounsaturated fats support cell membrane integrity, aid in the transport and absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, and are associated with favorable effects on blood lipid profiles when they replace saturated fats in the diet. Avocados also deliver substantial fiber, approximately 6-7 g/100 g, potassium, near 485 milligrams per 100 g, folate, and vitamin K, nutrients that together support cardiovascular function, cellular repair, and blood pressure regulation. The low sugar and high fiber content make avocados helpful for glycemic stability and satiety, valuable traits for people managing blood sugar or attempting weight control when portions are accounted for. Balancing benefits against risks requires attention to context. Lemons offer powerful antioxidant support and facilitate iron absorption from plant foods by providing vitamin C, which can be particularly useful for those with low dietary iron bioavailability. However, people with gastroesophageal reflux disease may find that the acidity exacerbates symptoms. Avocados, by contrast, are an excellent source of anti-inflammatory fats and nutrient density, but their caloric density means that habitual overconsumption can undermine calorie-targeted weight loss plans. For patients with advanced chronic kidney disease, the high potassium content in avocado warrants consultation with a clinician because dietary potassium restrictions may be necessary. Additionally, the vitamin K content in avocados can affect anticoagulant therapy, such as warfarin, so consistent intake and medical supervision are advisable for those on such medications. Practical examples illustrate how to maximize benefits while minimizing downsides. Adding a squeeze of lemon to iron-rich plant meals, lentil salads, spinach bowls, enhances non-heme iron absorption with only a trace of sugar and minimal calories, provided the lemon is not consumed as concentrated syrup or sweetened juice. Pairing sliced avocado with tomato or carrot-based salads increases the uptake of carotenoids from those vegetables, thanks to the avocado's healthy fats, and the meal will remain very low in sugar compared with fruit-heavy dressings. To protect teeth, dilute lemon juice in water and avoid prolonged sipping. To control calories from avocado, use measured portions, about a quarter to a half avocado per serving. so you receive fiber, healthy fats, and micronutrients without excessive energy intake. To wrap up, fruits are not all equal. They vary widely in vitamins, fiber, and sugar. On a per 100 g basis, high-sugar examples include grapes, 16 g, mango, 14 g, banana, 12 g, and apple, 10, 11 g. Berries are lower, strawberries 5 g, blueberries 10 g, while avocado is very low in sugar, 0.7 g. Dried fruits concentrate sugar, raisins 59 g, dates 63 g, and fruit juices often deliver 10 g or more per 100 ml without the fiber of whole fruit. Scientifically, the benefits, essential micronutrients, antioxidants, and fiber that slow glucose absorption, help reduce heart disease and support gut health. But the risks are real when portions or concentrated forms push daily sugar and calorie intake too high. Higher post-meal glucose spikes, dental decay risk, and excess calories that can contribute to weight gain. For most people, the best balance is whole fruit eaten in sensible portions, favoring high-fiber, nutrient-dense choices like berries, apples, with skin, citrus, kiwi, and avocado, and treating dried fruits and juices as occasional treats. If you have diabetes or strict carb goals, focus on low-sugar options and monitor portions. If you're active, higher sugar fruits can be useful for quick energy. If this video helped you make clearer choices about fruit, let us know which fruits you'd like ranked by health for specific goals, weight loss, blood sugar control, or athletic fuel. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive, where we'll analyze the best fruit swaps, snack recipes, and a detailed look at fruit and blood sugar with real-world meal examples. Thanks for watching. Tell us your favorite fruit in the comments and why, and we'll include viewer picks in the next episode.